But I didn't feel like I was back at the phone.
Would like to call to order the November 21st, 2016 Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners meeting. Welcome. We have more than a full house tonight. That is nice to see. We have with us tonight Boy Scout Troop 59 from St. John's Lutheran Church for presentation of our colors. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We are also very pleased to have with us tonight Dusty Morgan, a certified United Methodist Church lay leader from St. Paul United Methodist Church, for our invocation.
Good evening. I would like to thank all who are gathered here tonight and the commissioners for this opportunity. Let us pray. Almighty God, our all-wise, all-knowing Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight in prayer. Tonight, Lord, we pray for ourselves. We pray for our families. We pray for our friends, for our needs, and for our concerns. We also pray for our nation. We also lift up our praises unto you for everything that you have given us and for all that you will continually give. We know, Lord, that your grace, your mercy, and your love is more than sufficient for anything and everything that we will need. During this time tonight, Lord, I ask your presence be here, and I ask that your guidance and your direction is given to all and to the commissioners. I also ask as we leave here this night, Lord, you grant each and every one a safe passage home. All this we lift up to you in the name of your Son, our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you. We would also tonight like to observe a moment of silence for Pavel Glushinya. Pavel was a bright young paramedic who joined Cabarrus EMS in March of this year and was taken away from this world far too young. He will be missed. Our hearts go out to his family, friends, and co-workers. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. Would like to at this time ask that our Boy Scout Troop 59 members come up to the front, and if you would, each of you tell us your name and what you enjoy about scouting, and Commissioner Honeycutt will have a pen for you as you leave to my right. So if y'all would come forward now to the microphone.
I'm Jake, and something that I like to do is play tennis.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Colt Haas, and I really enjoy the time I have with my friends and being in the outdoors and such.
Thank you.
I'm Collier Leatherman, and I like just being in the outdoors.
Thank you.
I'm Hayes Leatherman, and I love just going in the outdoors with the fellow scouts.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Bobrick, and I like just camping with the friends.
Great. Thank you.
I'm Kyle Trevathan, and what I like about scouting is that I get to be with other boys my age and being in the outdoors.
Great. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Dylan Green, and I like the scenery outside.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Walker Hitchcock, and I like camping.
Thank you.
My name is Mac Morgan, and I like camping and backpacking.
Great. Thank you. We very much appreciate you taking your time to be with us tonight. Okay, the first item on our agenda is the approval and/or correction of our minutes. Do I hear a motion to approve the meetings as presented? Minutes as presented, excuse me.
I'll second the motion.
We have a
Mr. Chairman.
motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Next item would be approval of the agenda, including changes to the agenda, and I think each of you have a page with several items that are being changed and tabled and so forth.
Move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Moving on to recognitions and presentations. Active Living and Parks, we have a recognition of Girl Scout Troop 755, and Londa Strong is going to talk with us about that.
Thank you all for this opportunity. Byron Hagler, Park Program Manager, who was in charge of this project, is going to make the presentation for us.
Great.
Thank you. We are here to recognize some very hardworking ladies that we have here tonight. And I actually have some photos here just to showcase what they have. They were completing their Silver Award, and they have collectively worked over 400 volunteer hours on this project. This is a phased project, so this is not the end. Luckily, we continue to receive all of their hard work and graces. And they created a natural play area specifically at Vietnam Veterans Park. So what you see in these pictures here are the ladies here, parents, brothers, sisters, friends, all volunteered to help clear this area. And I'm sure this cooler weather has not had you forget how rough August and September were. They came in the 90-plus degree weather and cleared the woods in this area to create, in this particular area, a stone labyrinth. So you see, it was very miserable, but they worked together as a team and kept pushing, kept cheering each other on, and removed every single little small root. As you see, they are very grateful every time they pulled one finally out of the ground. And you have some sisterly cheering on of her brother digging a hole for her here. And again, every time that root came out of the ground, it was a great moment. It was very warm, a lot of sweat, a lot of tears, and definitely poison ivy in this area. So you see coming through and the overall design and laying out every single one of these stones were laid by hand, designed, picked up, and laid by hand. And not just that, I had to be picky and said they had to physically be buried flush with the ground. And so they went back after the design and buried every single one of those, and they recruited a lot of help for that. And it is a beautiful layout, and what you cannot see, what pictures will not justify, is this is actually the Girl Scout trefoil. So they're designed from up high. You can actually see that design on the outskirts of that, but this is a maze that you can actually go through. And so they were very proud of their efforts as they were finally nearing the completion, and there's your finished product. A lot of blood, sweat, and tears went in, including we have some frog homes that you see the PVC. We also have some little critter homes, some log steps that they entered in, as well as some giant chimes. You can come by and just clang these metal chimes together. And then also they built these giant xylophones by hand as well. Went through and found the node points on every single one that showed the resonance through here. So these girls worked very hard. And one of the stones here, our sign shop made this wonderful little dedication for them. So everyone who plays on this will know that this is in respect to the Girl Scout 755. So again, congratulations and thank you, ladies. Would like to recognize each one of you. First off, we have Emily Hebert. Thank you, ma'am. And then we have Annabelle Snyder. I threw the order on her.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Wonderful. And Rhiannon Cray. Again, just one more round of applause for these wonderful ladies, and then I'd like to also recognize the entire troop at 755 with a certificate as well. Miss Bell, if you would come down. A lot of organization and getting these girls together every single weekday and Saturday to bring in that many hours took a lot, and we do appreciate it. There's a lot of family that made all this happen, but thank you for the organization, and thank you for serving your community. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate everything that you've done. We're proud of our Vietnam Veterans Park and appreciate your efforts to enhance it. A lot of people are going to enjoy your work. Thank you. Next item on our agenda is also from Active Living in Parks, and that is recognition of the 2016 Cabarrus Senior Games State Final medalist. And we are fortunate to have a lot of those folks with us tonight. I think Londa has something. Nope. So I wanted to just recognize those and ask you if you would please stand. Mark Allen, Robert Barrier, Myra Bumgardner, Elizabeth Bennett, Janet Clay, H.L. Clay, Margaret Cleveland, Tom Cunningham, Rena Goolsby, Jeff Heggie, Nancy Capp, Florence Kendall, Teresa Lambert, Marvin Martin, Bonnie McLean, Mike Plowman, Billy Sumlin, Freddie Sumlin, and Bob Anderson. There are a lot of additional folks that also participated and won medals in these events, but thank you for what you do. Okay. Ronald Flanders, glad to have you with us tonight. Thank you for pointing that out. But these folks have a lot of spirit and do a wonderful job. I was privileged to be invited to the opening ceremony of the Senior Games for the past couple years, and it is truly an inspirational event to see all these folks and how involved they are in the activities. I think they set a good example for all the rest of us in the community. So please, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. We appreciate you being with us tonight. Next on our agenda is a presentation by the Cabarrus Veterans Coalition, and I think Mr. McLeod is here. Mrs. McLeod is here.
He is here, but I have the honor of speaking with you tonight.
Okay.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Janice McLeod, the Finance Officer for Cabarrus Veterans Coalition. I'm joined here tonight by other members of our organization, Tommy Russell, Luigi Marinaccio, Robert McLeod, Co-Chairman John Stanley, as well as Robert Swackenwheeler. We appreciate your allowing us a few minutes this evening to address you. The sole purpose of our being here is to express our heartfelt thanks to the Board of Commissioners for your tremendous support of our recently completed project. As you know, on October 15th, we proudly unveiled and dedicated a beautiful monument on the Vietnam Veterans Park, honoring the 29 men from Cabarrus County who made the ultimate sacrifice in Vietnam. We were pleased that a number of you, as well as a crowd of over 200, joined us, along with many family members of those fallen. This latest project would not have been possible without your support and your agreement to allow our beautiful black monument to be erected at Vietnam Veterans Park, not to mention the funding that was provided for site preparation and maintenance. In addition to thanking you for your financial support, we want to also publicly acknowledge and thank the members of our county's Active Living Parks Department. Londa Strong, Mike Murphy, and Byron Hagler were instrumental in our planning for the many months leading up to the completion. We know they, along with other members of that department, were busy preparing the site right up until the moment our program began. In our opinion, Vietnam Veterans Park had never looked greater, and we remain proud that our beautiful monument is now in its permanent home at Vietnam Veterans Park. If I may, on behalf of Cabarrus Veterans Coalition and all Cabarrus County veterans, I would like to present you and our County Parks Department a plaque demonstrating our gratitude to our Board of Commissioners and to the parks. And we really can't convey how appreciative we are. Thank you. And if Ms. Strong would come forward, we'd love for Parks and Rec to have one to hang in their facility.
I think
Did she leave?
she's out there with her senior games, folks.
Our deepest appreciation for everything you and your staff did to make our Vietnam Veterans Park and our monument so very special.
Well, thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Just a final note, or unfinal note. I'm John Stanley, founding member and co-chair of the Cabarrus Veterans Coalition. Ron Frawley, my co-chair, our co-chair, would like to have been here, but he's at a funeral for a former commander of Post 51, but he sends his wishes. At the end of the memorial service, when Ron Frawley and Louis were furling up the flags, rolling up the flags, and putting things away, a lone individual showed up. That he was sorry that he couldn't make it because he couldn't get away from work. And he sat down at a chair, at one of our benches. His father and his uncle are on that memorial. He was 2 years old when that happened. And here he is. This is what it's about. This is for posterity. And it's such an important thing that we have done here, both of us, and I don't mean me, but I mean us, for this park and for the people who served. The motto on the memorial stone is of one of my organizations that I belong to, and it's that never again will one generation of veterans abandon another, and that's what we're here for. We are both committed, both the county and the CVC, as commemorative partners of the 50th commemoration. And we hope we continue this partnership. And I would like to see personally, as Liz said to me a couple of years ago, yes, Mr. Stanley, what would you like to see? And here we are. I would like to see our youth getting involved in this, the Girl Scouts, the Boy Scouts, the junior ROTCs, so they know what we did and what they will have to do to make this country stand. Just a quick subnote, and I'll let you on your way. It says I had the opportunity to go up to Baltimore and visit my son and his wife, and they live in the Fort McHenry section of Baltimore. And if you go up to the top of his building, you could look down into Fort McHenry. So we went over to see it, and they gave a presentation. At the end of the presentation, they open up the wall so you can look at the fort and the flag flying. I, of course, was standing in the back and saluting as we said the pledge, as the Star Spangled Banner played, and so did my wife. And then a sign came up and said, "Please stand for the Star Spangled Banner." that and this lone man who showed up are what we're here for. Thank you all, and good evening.
Thank you very much. We appreciate what you folks have done out at the park, and it was really a privilege to be present at that memorial and dedication on the 15th. It was a wonderful service. Thank you all for all your efforts. Next item, thank you. Next item on our agenda is recognition of employee aid during Hurricane Matthew and the aftermath, and County Manager Downs is going to make that recognition.
Okay, yeah, I'll start that off. Mr. Chairman and Board, as you know, we have dedicated staff here in Cabarrus County that will answer any call that comes up within the county. But we also have several here tonight that not only answered the call here in Cabarrus County, they answered the call in several other counties that had suffered much more damage and had much more issues than we had. So I'd like to introduce them to you so that you can see who they are and that the public can see who they are as well, and that we can show our gratitude towards them as well. From Cabarrus County EMS, there was a group that went out as part of the State Medical Manpower Mission. They went to Columbus County. And when I call your name, if you'll come up forward so we can, and just line up all the way across the front here, okay? Dawn Newhall, Kendra Tedder, Chip Long, and Melchor Astudio. Okay, and Ambulance Strike Team 2 in Bladen County. Alan Thompson, Carla Brown, and Katie Curran. Ambulance Strike Team 3, also in Bladen County. They relieved Strike Team 2. And Brandon Fouts, Kyle Kazaya, Corbin Highland. And then also that did a stint in the Mobile Disaster Hospital in Kinston County, and that's Phil King. These and the others that were not here tonight, they not only answered the call in other counties, but they did sacrifice, and their families sacrificed during that time away as well. So we appreciate you for what you've done. You got all of your support folks in the back there while they didn't go to another county. They were here taking care of things so that you could go to the other counties. So, Mr. Chair and Board, I present the EMS workers that spent a great deal of time helping others. Thank you. Alan, you want to add something to that?
It's just an honor to be here, and really humbling too, because when we got the call to help, what's so amazing is that our staff did not hesitate to put down what they were doing, to cancel their plans, to make arrangements to go. They didn't ask for how long. They didn't ask how hard they were going to be working. They just knew that there was a need, and they responded. When we got down to the eastern part of the state, it was really difficult to manage, because one of the things that we've had the opportunity to do is that from a distance we almost insulate ourselves because we see the images on the news, but when we had the chance to be down there, what we realized is there was a face with this disaster, and these faces were human beings that needed help, and we had that opportunity to provide that help. We had that opportunity to not only respond to calls, but also to engage people in conversations and to find out what their needs were, and to simply be an active presence. And we thank you as a board and as senior leadership for the county for affording us that opportunity to be part of the state medical response team and allowing us to go in these time of needs and make a difference in other communities as well.
Thank you.
While the men and women in the uniforms were there attending to the emergencies and the medical needs, you wouldn't think that other issues occurred, but there was a lot of aid for people who were made homeless. They were without shelters for a long time. They were living in shelters. They needed food. They needed services. So We also had a group from our Department of Health, or Department of Human Services, that actually went to Hope County, and they interviewed and processed and keyed disaster food nutrition applications, so that those that were without and did not have money at the time because of the issues going on, they were able to process their applications in a timely manner so that they were able to get those services very quickly. And those of you, if you would, and Ben and Diane, if you guys would come up, and everybody knows Ben Rose, but you may not know Diane as much because she's only here periodically, but Diane is the program administrator for the Economic Services Group as well. So, Fadiana Kersey, did I say that correctly? And I apologize if I didn't do that. Fatina. Oh, wow, how did I do that? Is Fatina here? No. She's not here? No. Phyllis Hopkins? I jumped over to the wrong one anyway. Diana Martin. Sorry, Diana. I went to the second group first. Diana Starkey. Kristen Dury. And Beth Primock. Right? These ladies, as with our emergency workers, they gave up their time and their families as well to allow them to relocate to an entirely new county in the east and sit through some really long days and filling out a lot of paperwork and hearing a lot of stories and concerns. And I know you did that with pride for yourself, and we appreciate you representing the county as well. And so, Diane, you want to add something as well?
Pretty much what Alan said regarding the opportunity to go to another county and assist. I think what we have to keep in mind in a disaster situation, what they tell us is it would be approximately 1.25 times the number of food and nutrition applications that we would take in a disaster situation. So in Cabarrus County, we have approximately 10,000 food and nutrition cases. So we would be somewhere in the neighborhood of 12,500 disaster applications taken in a 5-day span. So you just have to put that in perspective for any county out there that's taken disaster applications during that 5-day period, the volume and what that looks like. And they've just finished days of sheltering individuals. So any opportunity that a county has to go out and assist another county is really huge. So we just appreciate that opportunity that you've allowed us to do and go assist another county. They heard a lot of stories. A lot of these folks have never had that opportunity before. So it's a real eye-opening experience, and they've come back thinking, what would we do in that situation? So they're now experienced and will be better prepared in the future.
Right. We also had a second group that didn't go to another county, but they also did similar work, but they did it from their current location here in Cabarrus County. And Jennifer Runyon, is Jennifer here? Yeah. Kiara Watley? Sierra. And Monique Cosart.
And what we were able to do for Lenoir County is process right from our own office. So they had a need for some adult Medicaid recertifications to be processed, so we were able to do those right from our office, and we took care of approximately 100 recertifications for Lenoir County. They were hit pretty hard, and they did not have any, really any room for any on-site staff. So they just sent us recertifications for us to process, and our adult Medicaid staff took care of those. So that's what we were able to do for Lenoir County.
So as with our folks in EMS, and here, life goes on in Cabarrus County. So while these women were out of town and others were here in town processing applications for others, the remainder of the men and women out there in economic services were doing double time themselves, trying to make sure that we stayed on track as well. So we appreciate.
The other thing I want to say is we had probably had 25, maybe 30 volunteers from the staff, and we couldn't afford to send that many, or we couldn't really tell another county that we could assist them, because we had to ensure that we met our deadlines at the end of the month. But we had a large number of staff say, we'll help with whatever you need. So it was just, huge that our counties were, or our staff were willing to help other counties. So
Great. Thanks.
I want to make sure I recognize the rest of the staff as well.
Well, you might as well go ahead and stay up here. If you'll just part ways, and we'll bring the others up here as well. These individuals weren't, they stepped up along with all of the county employees, or a lot of the county employees. There was a challenge out there in the transportation world that to bring goods and services to these areas. So it was a pack a van?
Stuff a bus.
What was it? Stuff the bus. Okay, I know there was another one out there. So it was not long after that initial flyer went out that our chairman of our CH3 committee, which is our employee charitable giving committee, called and said, hey, this looks like a good idea. Let's do this. And so what we did is got the announcements out all over to all departments and said, whatever you can send and bring and volunteer or to donate, bring it, and we will stuff it in a bus and we will take it down there. So we have two individuals here. Jessica Hill, is Jessica here? Yeah, there's Jessica, okay. Jessica Hill and Stan Parnell. They took on the chore of gathering all of that stuff, putting it in the bus, and then taking it down to a collection site in Durham. Chapel Hill? Somebody wrote it wrong here. I did get that one correct, but then it was distributed from that location. So, Stan and Jessica, thank you for doing that. Again, thank you for all of our employees that participated in that program. So there was a lot of stuff that went down there to those areas that were impacted the worst, and I know they appreciated it very much. And we appreciate the transportation department and our CH3 group. Again, that is employees from all departments that hold campaigns all year, raising money, collecting goods, and taking it to those people within the county, and at this time to a group outside of the county that they didn't even know, but they wanted to be a part of that campaign. So thank you, Jessica and Stan as well. So.
Thank you very much, and certainly on behalf of all the commissioners, we appreciate what you do, not only in these special circumstances, but every day. I think that the actions of Cabarrus County employees are so very much in line with the goal of the Board of Commissioners, and that cooperation and collaboration and looking outside of our borders to form relationships is extremely important, and we really appreciate it.
Chairman, can I make a comment before we move on?
Please do.
Because this is something that's sort of near and dear to my heart, because I don't know, most of us in this room have probably never ever been in a situation where you had total devastation and lost everything you had, and not wondering where you're going to sleep tonight, wondering what you're going to put on tomorrow, much less what you're going to eat, that kind of thing, until you've actually seen that. And so I have a deep appreciation for these people that took their time to go do this, and it's not, a very comfortable situation either, because I personally have been on 3 of these disaster relief missions myself over the years, and to personally see devastation, when you see on the side of the road everything that was in a person's house sitting on the side of the road waiting to be picked up, and nothing to eat, nothing. So it's a very bad situation for those people to be in, but words can't describe how good it makes them feel to know that somebody cares. And that's one thing that I think that with our people going shows that Cabarrus County does care. And I'm just thankful that they could go and do all that you've done. And thank all you guys for everything you do on a day-to-day basis.
Thank you for those comments. Next up, we have Alan Thompson with 2 presentations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It is a pleasure to be here tonight to recognize 2 teams, paramedic competitors from Cabarrus County that achieved a great deal of success this year in 2 different paramedic competitions. The first group that we would recognize is Captain Will Cannon and Captain Jonathan Malden. Captain Malden is unable to be with us tonight. He had a previous engagement. As you'll recall, last year we had the opportunity to host the Carolinas Paramedic Competition out at the Speedway, and we brought in teams from across North Carolina and South Carolina. And this year, since we were not hosting it, we had the opportunity to compete. So our team of Captain Malden and Captain Cannon went down to South Carolina, won the overall competition after 2 days of intense competition consisting of 2 practical scenarios, a written test, and a host of other things that were judged on. So we're very fortunate to have these 2 paramedics working with us in Cabarrus County, because the same ethic and the same commitment they take to the competition is what they deliver each day to the citizens of Cabarrus County. So the next group that I would recognize is Captain Will Cannon and Captain Justin Brines. If Captain Brines will come forward. Captain Brines and Captain Cannon, back in July, went and competed in the regional North Carolina Office of EMS paramedic competition, which they won by a large margin, which gave them the opportunity to go to the state competition in late September, the first part of October. They went to Greensboro, represented Cabarrus County EMS in a very powerful way. At the end of the competition, after watching the teams, I mean, it was pretty obvious that there were maybe 2 teams that could win it, with one of them being Cabarrus County. We did not win this year, but I can tell you that what I saw, their performance is a testament to the level of care that they provide. And again, we're very fortunate to have paramedics of this caliber working in Cabarrus County. And I'd say they're also representatives of their coworkers, because each paramedic in Cabarrus County has this same type of commitment, this same type of passion that they deliver to the citizens each day. When the 911 call comes in, they want to deliver their best, they want to deliver it in an efficient manner, and they treat each patient as if they were their own family member. So thank you, gentlemen, for your commitment. Thank you for your performance, and we're very fortunate to have you. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. As I said before, we have got outstanding folks involved working for Cabarrus County, and they provide not only tremendous services to our citizens, but bring a great deal of honor to us across the state, and we certainly appreciate you. Next, we have a presentation from the Cabarrus Visitors Bureau, and Donna Carpenter and John Mills are with us.
Commissioners, thank you so much for the opportunity to be in front of you this evening. This is a long past due because Commissioner Poole and I can't seem to get it together. I was out in September, out of town. She was out of town in October. So here we are in November. And we come before you today to honor and thank Commissioner Poole for her service on the Cabarrus County Convention and Visitors Bureau Board. During her time on the board, she served with us for 3 years, and during her time, tourism continued on a healthy rise. Not only did she bring her knowledge from the commission, but her knowledge as an educator, and an educator in tourism at that. And she was so helpful during our meetings and her leadership. And also, as serving on our board as well as on the MPO board, she actually helped our vision of the Exit 49 improvements become a reality, that will soon become a reality here in Cabarrus County. And even if it was just that she contributed, we are so forever grateful to you and your service and your friendship. And I had to make my notes to make sure I didn't forget anything, and I don't think I did. Did I forget anything, John? I think you're good. So we would like to present you with a card and the official helmet of the CVB for your desk, or it's an actual helmet. So, you know, if you can work it out that you can get in your car and take off, you are now protected. So thank you very much. May I approach, or you come? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thank
I will
you,
tell
Donna.
you that I do miss being on your board. That was always a fun meeting and a lot of industry people who really do care about tourism. And as you know, I've said it often, tourism is what saved Cabarrus County during the Great Recession. And if it hadn't been for everything that you represent, we would have been in a lot worse shape. So you guys are the ones that do all the work, and I appreciate it. And thank you for this. It'll look interesting. I have a mannequin. I think I can fit it on.
And so my question would be why you would want to put that on a mannequin when you could actually wear it. All right. Very good.
But that strap goes under your chin, not across your face.
Yeah. You wear it well. Thank you, and thank you for your service to the CVB. One of the things that I have failed to mention is to introduce an additional person we have up front with us tonight. We're so happy to have Clay McGuire with us from the Cabarrus Youth Commission. Clay, we're glad to have you. Next is our informal public comments. I have 2 cards tonight, and I will call those in the order that I received them. First, we have Janelle Gingrich Caudle from the Good Samaritan Society.
As Ms. Caudle's coming up, you each have a handout that Ms. Caudle has prepared for you as well.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of Cabarrus County Board of Commissioners, good evening. My name is Janelle Gingrich Caudle, and I am founder and president of the Good Samaritan Society. I thank the Board of Commissioners for the opportunity of speaking to you about improving the conditions for animals residing at our county's animal shelter. This year's transition has presented challenging adjustments for shelter staff and the rescue community alike. A fully amiable assimilation has yet to occur between both parties. There are multiple topics of concern to be addressed. Going forward, it is my hope that more members of the rescue community will join the discussion. I sense some may worry that expressing their concerns will affect their future ability to save animals. I hope that you will address this concern and urge this community to come forward without fear. The subject of this evening is my view as an activist and a taxpayer. As an activist, my first job is to be a voice for those who cannot speak for themselves. As a taxpayer, I would like proper respect returned to Cabarrus County's rescue professionals and animal welfare advocates. Historically and nationally, killing animals is used as a form of population control. The no-kill movement finds this system archaic, reprehensible, and profoundly immoral. It is objectionable and abhorrent to our souls that we must pay taxes to support such a system that devalues and takes life. If any hope exists of changing the system, rescue groups and advocates must have reasonable access in kill shelters to perform our challenging and heartbreaking duties without unnecessary obstruction. The Good Samaritan Society desires for each and every animal the opportunity to find safety without prejudice. The personal opinions of shelter staff and volunteers should not be given the power to make life and death decisions if a rescue group, an advocate, or a taxpayer is willing to take full responsibility. While most rescuers welcome the thoughts and suggestions of staff, variables such as health status and temperament testing results are highly subjective. This evening, I'd like to ask the board to consider every dog and every cat as equal and worthy recipients of full exposure to animal welfare advocates and rescue groups. As it currently stands, many kennels at the shelter remain behind closed doors. No one outside of the shelter staff and its volunteers is granted access to view these animals. At any given time, what does that mean?
Yeah, your 3 minutes are up, but you can continue.
Okay, thank you.
Finish.
It'll be just a moment. At any given time, the number of the unseen can equal or exceed the number of those seen. We additionally ask the board to grant rescue professionals permission to photograph and video all animals for the purpose of rescue and activism, and this includes interactive video performances. While it's far from our primary concern, it is our hope that full disclosure and transparency will diminish the costs associated with storing, feeding, medicating, and euthanizing animals. An additional benefit may lower costs of shelter operation and decrease taxes. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, please remove the stop signs, rendering animals utterly hopeless and facing almost certain death. The Good Samaritan Society and our colleagues ask for open doors to save the voiceless, helpless, unseen animals and work amicably with shelter employees and volunteers. I thank you so much for your consideration and your compassion. Together, we can make Cabarrus County a kinder place for defenseless animals. We look forward to seeing positive changes. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Okay, our next speaker is Evelyn Miller.
Good evening, and I'm Evelyn Miller, and I'm the campaigner who had the audacity to run against the finest commissioners. And I wanted to come to personally congratulate you on your on being reinforced here as county commissioners. And during the campaign season, I just wanted to tell you a few things that happened. I had a chance to meet the mayor, and the mayor said to me, "You are, Ms. Miller, are running against the county commissioners. I certainly hope you have some thick skin." And I said, "Oh my God, they're going to eat me up there." But you know, once during the campaign, I had a chance to meet Steve Morris, who's the chairman, and Ms. Poole. I found them to be very congenial and very authentic. And also in talking to residents here in Cabarrus County, they mentioned to me that this board has done great things, and you know, I agree, because I've seen your works, I've seen how this county has grown, and I wanted to be a part of it, but it didn't happen this time. But I just wanted to thank you, and again, I will love to work in any capacity. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you coming. It was a pleasure getting to know you, and appreciate those kind words. Okay, those are all the cards that I have for tonight. Is there anybody else here that would like to speak during general comments? Okay, seeing none, we will move on to our consent agenda. And of course, you all have a copy of that in front of you. And these are all items that we discussed at our work session 2 weeks ago. Do I hear a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes, and we move on to new business. First item on new business is discussion of purchase of additional land for Wallace Park, and I think Jonathan Marshall is going to.
This proposal before you is to purchase some additional land adjacent to Wallace Park. People may not be aware, but there was a parcel sold for an industrial business, IPG, that'll bring jobs to that area of the county. So that money had been set aside to buy some additional land to get the park back to the same acreage or close to it. This particular parcel it's actually 3 parcels, and because of the type of way that we're proposing that it be purchased, it does require a public hearing by the commissioners. There is no action required on that public hearing other than to take input. But this is land that we're proposing be purchased at the value that the current tax value, and the property owner has agreed to that.
Great. Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Marshall? Hearing none, I will open the public hearing and invite anyone forward that would like to speak on the purchase of additional property for the Wallace Park in Midland. Okay, seeing no one, I will close the public hearing. And we will move to item 2 on new business, and that is economic development investment. And we have Robbie Carney and Leanne both with us tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to take a quick moment before we get into our projects this evening, just to say thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to see us tonight. It's been a pleasure getting to know each one of you thus far. As you already know, my name is Robert Carney. I'm only about 4 months in as the new executive director for the Cabarrus Economic Development Corporation, but thus far, your vision and leadership has been really exciting to an individual like me. As you already know, our corporation is solely focused on one key and critical goal. It's to increase and maintain the quality of life of this county through healthy job and tax growth. So that's what our corporation is geared and focused on doing, and that's what we're here to do. So this is the first opportunity I've had to see each of you in open session. It's a pleasure. I really do appreciate it. We've got 2 projects tonight that our head of existing industry, Leanne Nixon, will be presenting to you. One is a potential relocation of a regional headquarters operation, and then the other is a adjustment to an existing project that we already have worked on. It appears that the company would like to actually expand their current footprint and do additional investment over and beyond what was originally presented. So with that, I will turn it over to Leanne Nixon.
Okay, in regards to ISE Enterprises tonight, they are former Project Hornet, which manufactures acrylic display fixtures that are used in retail settings. On July the 18th this year, in a competitive situation, you approved a 3-year and 85% economic development investment of $49,087.50 if they built a 30,000 square foot building in Cabarrus and added $2,750,000 in real and personal property, along with 20 jobs that were above our average wages. ISE was very grateful for the board's support, which proved to be instrumental in their decision to announce Cabarrus as their future home, rather than Mecklenburg. However, since their announcement, the company has realized that they need a bigger building. So we're coming back tonight to you to share those changes and ask that you consider increasing the grant based on ISE's larger investment and recognize that the site location within Cabarrus has actually changed or would change. The main changes that we are requesting from what you previously approved are that the location has changed from 840 Biscayne Drive to 5885 Davison Highway. The investment amount has actually increased. They would invest, instead of $2,750,000, they increased that to $3 million. The square footage has increased from 30,000 to 45,000, and the job count of 20 still remains the same. We believe that these changes that we're bringing back before you are positive because outside of the grant request, ISE is also going to do a few other things that I would just like to share with you tonight. They're actually going to build an additional 45,000 square foot building beside of their new building at 5885 Davison Highway. They are still planning on building the original spec building at 840 Biscayne Drive that will be 20,000 instead of 30,000 square feet. But their current facility at 1151 Biscayne Drive, that is 25,000 square feet, will become available later next year as they're able to move into their new location. All of these investments are really good for our business community because we will have more available space for new or expanding businesses. So to recap the request again, because I know that was a lot of information, would like to be able to change the location from 840 Biscayne Drive to 5885 Davison Highway. We would like to recognize ISE's real and personal property amount would increase to $3 million, which would change the county's 3-year and 85 economic development investment from $49,087.50 to $53,550. Just wanted to share with you that the City of Kannapolis also considered these changes on November the 14th, and they voted to approve the increase in the investment amount and the location. Are there any questions that I can answer for you?
I have one. The change in the location, is this
I don't know how to put this. Is this the location that is created some concern in that area, where it's to be relocated?
Actually, no. They will continue to build the spec building on Biscayne that they were going to originally build, and they hope to have a tenant ready for that building. And so this new location would actually just allow them to build a bigger building of 45,000 square feet instead of 30,000. If you ride out Biscayne and look at where they were going to build, it's a pretty tight lot. And they have already approached Kannapolis Planning and Zoning Department, and they are approved for the changes that they would like to make to that particular site. And they know all the requirements that are going to be asked of them in order to follow kind of suit of other buildings in the area, and have all that approved already.
That still doesn't clarify for me whether this is the
Yeah.
new site is the one that has been.
This new site is directly across the street from Haas, right?
Yes, sir.
It's on Highway 73, across from the Kannapolis Industrial Park there where Haas Racing is.
So it would be on the left. If you were coming from I-85, it would be on the left right before you got to Kannapolis
Are
Highway.
you talking about the large company that's coming in?
Yes, that's not the same
this
one.
company.
That's
No,
what
ma'am.
that's where I was heading. Thank you very much. It was a little sticky to
Yeah.
ask that question.
Sure.
So,
Right.
yes, that's what I needed to know. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much. We do have need for a public hearing on this matter, so I will open the public hearing and invite anyone to the podium that would like to speak on this economic development project. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve an economic development investment agreement, 3 years, 85% between ISE and Cabarrus County, and to authorize the county manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the board, subject to revision and review by the county attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I move for approval.
Thank you. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I will point out, as Commissioner Minot has pointed out a number of times in the past, when these projects come before us for a public hearing and a vote, it is usually after we've had lengthy discussions about the details about it. So for those watching from the audience, don't want you to think we very hurriedly rushed through these decisions. It has received a great deal of deliberation. Any other comments? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Now I would like to go backwards for a minute and go back to item number 1 under new business. We held the public hearing for the purchase of additional land for Wallace Park, but we did not vote to approve that.
Thank you, and I was going to point that out when I came up for the next item. Both Mr. Cook and Ms. Smith correctly pointed out to me that although the public hearing did not require action, the terms of the purchase of both the Thompson and Stone property do require your action.
Right, so at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the property purchases based on the general terms outlined, with authorization for the county manager to finalize those purchases, subject to review and revision by the county attorney. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Now we will switch to forward again, and Leanne is going to talk with us about an economic development investment for Project Linder.
Thank you for allowing us to present this project also tonight. So Linder Industrial Machinery sells heavy equipment for construction and other fields. They have purchased land at 5733 and 5625 Davison Highway, and they plan to open a retail sales and service facility employing 41 people who are currently located at a temporary facility on Davison Highway. The company is considering building out the second floor of the facility to create a Class A office space for its regional headquarters. This company is expected to bring or hire 75 employees over the next 4 years for the regional headquarters, with average wages of $73,246. This is far higher than Cabarrus County average wages of $36,446. In addition, the regional headquarters would serve as a training facility. This company anticipates hosting 1-week training sessions for 34 weeks out of the year. The 10-person training sessions would serve employees from other locations, as well as customers operating from the region. The total investment is $7.6 million over 5 years, with $5.9 million in real estate and $1.7 million in equipment for a 39,000 square foot facility. The company has requested an incentive grant to help it decide to locate the regional headquarters here in Cabarrus. The regional headquarters is competitive with the possibility of the company expanding at their existing properties in Columbia or Greer, South Carolina, as well as Raleigh, North Carolina, is being considered. The City of Kannapolis recently approved a grant in the amount of $37,500, and we are here tonight to ask also that the Cabarrus County government consider the same investment in the amount of $37,500, which is $500 per job for the creation of 75 jobs, and their commitment to add $1.7 million in real and personal property. Excuse me, that's a total of $7.6 million in real and personal property. Any questions?
Okay, now is this adjacent to the property we just discussed?
No, sir. It is actually back closer to I-85.
Right.
Not too far past Biscayne Lane on the left if you were moving away from I-85.
Any other questions for Leanne?
Just one, Mr. Chairman. That is, we don't do a lot of these where it's a per employee creation. And you said 5 years, so on the incentive grant. So this will be 5 years to do the 75 employees. Is that right?
It could be. Their commitment that they have filled out on the application is to have all 75 jobs in 4 years and all of the investment in 5. So I would think by the time they are allowed 1 year maybe to get the building actually constructed, that we would already be into that first year. So, hopefully jobs will come quickly. So the jobs are definitely in 4, but we want to see all that investment made too before we pay that out. So I would lean on Rich on how we would word that in the contract.
We're supposed to have a discussion about that after Thanksgiving in conjunction with the City of Kannapolis on how to deal with the language.
Right.
As Commissioner Shue, you're right, we've never really done one quite like this. So.
Well, I think that as the county grows, we're probably going to see a little more creativity anyway when it comes to incentive grants. And, we're all about economic development and jobs because we still have a shortage of jobs. And until that time comes that we don't, we're going to, I'm sure, be welcoming businesses, and they're going to be incentive grants with no doubt some pretty much out-of-the-box thinking. So thank you, Leanne.
Thank you for being willing to consider it.
What's our average wage?
Our
for jobs
average
in Cabarrus County, not these, but
$36,446.
this is about twice the average wage.
It is at $73,246. They're really good paying jobs. And the Class A office space is another area that, we are paying close attention to, that we'd like to be able to work with more of those types of facilities in Cabarrus.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
We do have need of a public hearing for this as well. So I will open the public hearing and invite anyone to the podium that would like to speak in regard to economic development investment for Project Linder. Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. And at this time, entertain a motion to approve an economic development investment agreement of $500 per new job created between Project Lender and Cabarrus County, and to authorize the county manager to execute the agreement on behalf of the board, subject to review or revision by the county attorney.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion. Do I hear a second? Any discussion? I will just echo what's said before. I think, to have an opportunity to have these level of jobs that pay this well is a big plus for the citizens of Cabarrus County. We talk about our economic development proposals a lot of time and say, well, what do we do for our existing businesses? Certainly, when we can bring a company in that employs 75 people with a wage of $73,000 per year, I think all of our local businesses, certainly retailers, benefit from that. So I'm happy that we have that there. We're willing to be flexible to work with these type of projects.
I'd like to add, too, that they mentioned it was be a training facility. So that's going to be people coming in here for training that are going to be in our motels and restaurants, et cetera.
Absolutely.
So it's a plus all the way around.
Definitely. Okay, any other discussion? If not, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. See, item number 4 has been tabled. Item number 5, request to lease area adjacent to the Concord Library. Jonathan.
Thank you. This is a request by an adjacent property owner to lease some outdoor area, as you're aware, for a restaurant that's under construction. Michael Miller and Kyle Billifer did meet what will be the operator of the restaurant at the site and then worked out the area. Of course, we would need an actual survey to attach to a lease to finalize that, as well as the plantings and screening type fencing and everything that would be around that area. And then in addition, the pavers so that we could access water lines, both their water lines and ours, should there need to be a repair. At the time it was presented to you at your work session, the proposal that they had sent us in writing was $1,000 a month in lease payment. Commissioner Hsu questioned the amount of that. We went back and looked, and last year their proposal was $1,000 per year. Being that large a disparity, I contacted the owner as well as the potential operator of the restaurant to try and get clarification between that $1,000 a year and what would be $12,000 a year. Did not hear back from them. Again, I contacted them at least 3 more times, and in fact, we went back to the real estate consultant that we have been using about what would be an appropriate rent to see if that $1,000 a month was even appropriate, and we would certainly want them to be successful. They felt that rent for a space of that type and that type of use is more in the range of $250 to $300 a month. So we have that disparity. So at this point, without any resolution, because they have not contacted me back, I can simply ask you to table this till December, and I will continue to try and work out what that proposed payment would be.
Okay, thank you very much. I would make a motion that we table this item to our December, I think, 19th meeting.
Second motion, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes, and this item is tabled to December. Next item is our parking deck design contract, and Kyle Billifer will talk with us about that.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Morrisburg Architects was awarded the feasibility study and design services for the downtown Concord parking deck back in February of 2016. We actually presented to you in early July with kind of the updates and the preliminary designs. Since then, Morrisburg has completed the bulk of the feasibility study, and they've provided their proposal for the actual design, bidding, and construction administration phases of the project. The proposal for the services and the related agreement and budget amendment are attached to this for additional detail. So I'm looking for the board to go ahead and approve the Morrisburg proposal, adopt the related budget amendment and project ordinance, and authorize the county manager to execute the related agreement, subject to review or revision by the county attorney. And it is a standard AIA contract.
Great. Any questions for Mr. Billifer? I think for those in the audience who may not have been privy to the previous discussions we've had about this, this is a very important component to our court system and providing parking current and going into the future. Will be a cooperative effort with the City of Concord that I think will be beneficial to both. So just a little background on it. Any other questions? I would entertain a motion to approve the Morrisburg proposal, adopt a related budget amendment and project ordinance, and to authorize the county manager to execute the related agreement subject to review or revision by the county attorney.
Mr. Chairman, I'll move for approval.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. And while you are at the microphone, would like to thank you and comment on the wonderful job you and your staff have done in sprucing up the commissioners' meeting room here. It's so well done that I found that some people did not notice the change, but we have we had some fabric coming off the walls and some other problems, and that's all been repaired, and we have a new seal above me here, as well as some improved audio-visual equipment, and so thank you very much. You did a beautiful job. We're
ITS
very proud of
department
it.
deserves a lot of thanks, too. Appreciate it.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, next we move on to appointments to boards and committees. Several members need to be removed from the Cabarrus County Youth Commission roster due to graduation from high school and/or expiration of terms. Also due to scheduling conflicts and a heavy school workload, Youth Commission member Alana Murphy has resigned from her position on the commission. The Cabarrus County Youth Commission has received applications for vacant positions, and a letter of recommendation is attached regarding a request for the following appointments. That would be Macy Uri for A.L. Brown High School, Amaya Williams from Cox Mill High School, Anam Imran from Hickory Ridge High School, Lauren Martin from Hickory Ridge High School, Julia Allen, Mount Pleasant High School, and William Cason Nalbone at large from the homeschool community. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to remove the following members from the Cabarrus County Youth Commission roster and thank them for their service: Michael Coward, Lauren Troll, Cooper McCauley, Danita Ning, Alvarez Neely II, Destin Thompson, Christina Jones, and Alana Murphy. Do I hear?
So moved. Did you make it as a motion? Or did you?
I said I would entertain a motion.
Okay, so moved.
Great. Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. And at this time, I would entertain a motion to appoint the following individuals to the Cabarrus County Youth Commission for 2-year terms ending June 30th, 2018 as follows: Macy Uri as an A.L. Brown High School representative, Amaya Williams as a Cox Mill High School representative, Anam Imran and Lauren Martin as Hickory Ridge High School representatives, Julia Allen as a Mount Pleasant High School representative, and William Cason Nybone as an at-large homeschool representative. Do I hear such a motion?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. Yeah, that motion passes. Also would entertain a motion to change Joseph Mahonen's representation on the Youth Commission from Concord High School to Central Cabarrus High School for the remainder of his term.
So moved. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed, no. That motion passes. Okay, you have a number of reports attached to your material tonight. And at this time, I would open the floor for general comments by board members. Well, it's been I'll just say it has been a busy time in Cabarrus County over the past few weeks, and we had a wonderful tree lighting ceremony for the City of Concord on Friday night and a Christmas parade on Saturday. I think the City of Kannapolis has a tree lighting ceremony Saturday the 26th, and then followed by their Christmas parade on December the 10th. So there are no shortage of events to attend, and they have all been extremely well attended and well done. It's been a pleasure to be a part of them. Did you have something?
I do. I was asked to announce the Cabarrus County Senior Center will present the Holly Day Follies, Tuesday, December 6th at 6:30 at the Cabarrus Arena and Event Center, $5 for adults, $3 for children, $4 at the door for 12 and under. There'll be hot dogs for sale and more beginning at 5 p.m. Then on December 13th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., the Active Living and Parks Department will have the Seniors Christmas Party. There'll be all-day entertainment, door prizes, goodie bags, refreshment, food, and fun. And then last, they are accepting applications starting December 1st through the 31st for, that you can apply for the Low Income Energy Assistance Program funds. And that is for people who are 60 years and older, disabled folks as well, and you will work with the DHS Adult and Aging Services on this. It's a one-time payment that's from a federal grant, and you can apply, like I say, December 1st through the 31st. There are income requirements, but they'll be glad to help you with that at the Cabarrus County Department of Human Services, and that number, if you have questions, is 704-920-1400.
Great, thank you. Any other announcements or comments? Clay, I promised I would not ask you any embarrassing questions, but I will give you an opportunity to make any comments that you might have about your experience on Youth Commission or at this meeting tonight.
I'll just say I was recently elected the president of the Youth Commission, and it's a learning experience. I still don't know a lot, but I have a greater appreciation for what this board does, so I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to learn more.
Great. Well, we're glad to have you with us.
Thank you.
And may I say that I was not chit-chatting. I was trying to kind of fill him in on each of these things that were happening tonight and give him a little bit of background as it was going on, because if you don't, it's kind of just a mishmash. So.
I'm very grateful for that.
We appreciate it.
So.
One more announcement. Mr. Billifer has been working with the Concord Rotary Club the last couple of months. And so Rotary Square, if you drive by it now, you will notice that there is a large Christmas tree that has been lit up there, and that has been a joint project with the county and the Rotary Club, so it's worked out. What's that? And the City of Concord. So another joint project there to enhance that park and add on to, as Commissioner Morris stated, the Concord's lit tree as well. So
Great.
We have lit trees on both ends of the downtown. So.
Wonderful. Thank you. Any other comments? We do have need of a closed session. tonight. So at this time, I would entertain a motion to go into closed session to discuss matters related to pending litigation, economic development, and the acquisition of real estate as authorized by North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A 3, 4, and 5.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. That motion passes. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and we are now in closed session.